Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Jon Hassan, recently released from the Bandits, is here, and he is, folks, if you don't already know, we will be expanding the GIWL to a fifth team, and, John, if you'd like to introduce the Generals to the GIWL fans, all 400 something of them at the time of this recording.
Yeah, so we got the GIWL Generals. I mean, I think, well, like, you know, this really kind of changes things up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's great. And, you know, I mean, I get, you know, like, I was released by the Bandits, but it was more of a mutual thing because, one, obviously, me and Jack both agreed my play wasn't good, you know, on par with what he was expecting and what I was expecting of myself. I know I could have done better, and that's also what I'm going to be working on, and I'm going to be bringing over the Generals along with, you know, people that I get in the off season and in the draft. So it was more of a mutual thing. And, you know, I talked to you and we figured, you know, it's a good thing. I think it'd be a good thing to expand the league to a fifth team.
Yes, so we wanted the regular season to have some meaning. So the fifth place team will be missing the playoffs this year. That's probably a shocker to no one. It would make sense with 5 teams. That's how to do that. I guess if you don't mind, I can just get into some questions. This won't be a crazy long interview video, but just an introduction as as it's looking at the time of recording, it's probably going to be limited on what exactly we can do to announce this franchise becoming a thing. So we figured this would be kind of cool, kind of like a podcast, but mainly just like an interview. So I'm going to start off by asking you yourself. This is a fresh start. As of right now, you are the biggest bust in GIWL history. And, you know, you have all the ceiling in the world. What are you looking to do first and foremost to improve your game? And is your main focus this season individual improvement, or are you more locked in on just team goals in general?
I wouldn't say, you know, in just me, like, I want to make me the best person on that roster. Of course, every manager wants to be the best player on their roster. But, you know, in the offseason, I've already built a zone, which is, you know, much farther than the Aces have done this entire season.
That's true.
When it comes to improving their players. Of course, you know, the Aces, no shade to them. They drafted a lot of great players.
Of course.
I guess, like, my goal is obviously, yes, independent, you know, building of myself. I need to, you know, work on my pitching and my batting, of course. Looking to be the arm of my franchise. And, you know, I also got to get the bats going, which it was a big, you know, upset last year. And I'm not going to make excuses. Of course, I'm not the most experienced guy in the league. Of course, you, Torn, Ianco, and Nate, you know, you guys played a lot before I started joining on it. So I'm not entirely the most experienced. So I am looking to improve myself a lot more as a ball player. But I know as a new franchise, not a lot of the big name guys in free agency this year are going to want to come, you know, join this brand new franchise. You know, I don't expect to pick up week 1. I'm not going to be picking up, you know, Nathan Harrington or Fang or Hooten, you know, depending on what your, you know, free agency signings are and stuff. If you keep Hooten, or obviously I'm expecting Hooten to stay a Fisher cap, but I'm not expecting, you know,
I'd hope so,
to be signing big name players right out the gate, you know. So, of course, as a manager, I want to be the best manager I can be, and I want to help improve my team so that it's not, because it's not a team sport. You know, I mean, wiffle ball, it's not a team sport. You need to have a system around you. So, of course, I can improve myself and just focus on me and me only, but that's just selfish, when I would also have other guys who need to develop too. And so my goal is, of course, you know, during the snow, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but once the spring starts and the snow starts to go away and it's going to be a little chilly, but it's warmer than what it is currently, I expect to hit the, you know, park with my guys. You know, I have a zone, I have bats, I have balls, so I'm expecting, you know, commitment. And whatever guys I sign, I'm going to tell them straight up, you know, I'm expecting commitment. I want people to show up, I want people to be available, I want people to be, you know, wanting to work like I am, and that's my expectation going into the season. You know, all gas, no brakes, is that I don't want to be the first team to miss the playoffs in GIWL history. I want to be a team. Yeah, I don't want to be the first team in GIWL history to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I like that all gas, no brakes mind mentality there. I think that's something that I personally really went for last year, and the results showed for it.
And
So I
congrats,
agree with
by the
you.
way, on the World Series.
Thank you. That was a rough series.
Mhm.
I suppose we should have a podcast soon talking about the playoffs.
Yeah.
But maybe that'll be posted before, depending on, because we record these things all different times. But um, it was a great series. Yeah, I won't say too much because I do want to do a playoff podcast. But everything you said there, I agree, and it's just further reinforcing the reasons why I gave you a team. But I guess my next question would just be, what is talk about your confidence in free agency and what you plan to do when approaching players and who you have your eyes on if there's anyone specific, as everyone's a free agent, and you can talk about, I guess, just who you're kind of targeting at the moment.
So yeah, I like to look at myself as a guy that's easy to like. And I know I'm very easy to like. I know me and Nate had the social media beef, but me and Nate, me and Nate Harrington, we love each other. You know what I'm saying? We have such a good, relationship together, of course. But when it comes to competition, I like to be the top dog. And of course, I didn't show it this year. And so my words, the receipts and stuff like that, obviously I can back those up. So my goal is to, improve myself. But I know as myself, I'm a likable person, and I know I'm a trustworthy person, and I know people like that in a guy that's going to be leading them, into battle. And I want my guys to trust me in leading them into battle. So I'm going to use, my tactics. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to make, I'm going to conversate. I'm not going to just be like, come play ball for me and sign this contract. I'm going to, tell them my commitment to work. I'm going to try to show them my commitment to work, and that, I want to help them improve. I want to help myself improve, and I want to be a top team in the league in the coming years.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely will have the resources for that, and I think your commitment as well is really going to help. It's going to help you, and it's going to help those around you. I think you're going to be an underrated spot. I think you're going to land a couple free agents.
Of course, I'm eyeing everybody. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that doesn't re-sign with their team, or whatever the case may be, I'm eyeing everybody. Of course, I'm eyeing Nate Harrington. I'm eyeing Fanger. I'm eyeing Landon Guadagno. I'm just eyeing all these guys that I saw play well throughout the year. And I know LG2 had his struggles at the beginning of the year, but then he gradually got better. And I want to bring that kind of work on my team because the kid's a ball player. And I want to bring just telling to my team, hey, if you let Hooten walk, I'd be more than happy to see him in camo green. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm eyeing everybody. Nobody's out. And I mean, even if you I didn't have the best stats last year. And even if you don't have the best stats last year, I'm more than willing to bring you onto this team. And if you're willing to work, I'm willing to work with you, and I'm willing to work too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, this team is a second chance for you leading it. So guys that are going to want to get a second chance, or like maybe didn't underperform last year, guys like Landon Guadagno, guys like I could say like John Martinez, a guy like Cooper O'Leary, a guy like Jackson Davis, even a guy like Brady Hillman, or like Michael Guglia, just that level of play where there's a lot of ceiling. Obviously, more so with Hillman and Guglia, I'm sure are gonna stay with their respective teams. But anything, and then obviously you have your draft too. That's a lot. I know. I guess this can kind of lead into the next question. Is you have obviously many will say the Bandits lost out on the draft because of picking you in the first round. Something you're looking to bounce back from. That I think you're very capable of doing. But how are you just gonna look? What's gonna be your approach to the draft? Obviously, we don't really have much of the draft pool yet, but just like your approach to the draft to make sure that you don't repeat the mistakes that the Bandits made last year in the 2023 draft, because it was ugly even drafting Nick Galligan at 5. So just talk to me about that.
I'm not gonna go for somebody. I'm not gonna go for a name. I'm gonna go for a player. And I like I said earlier on, I didn't have the most experience. I didn't have the most skill set. Of course, I talked a big game. And, I think that's what led to me being drafted 4th overall. And that I'm not going to go for a name. I'm going to go for a guy that can go out there, catch a ball. Sorry, Logan, for yelling at you the one game. But I'm going for a guy that can catch a ball, that can hit a ball, that can pitch. I mean, if it's needed, get a second arm. I don't have a second arm. So I'm not going for a name. I'm going for a player.
That's a very good way to approach it. That's what won us the World Series, I think, is I didn't go for a name. The Aces went for a name in Brady Hillman and Cooper O'Leary. I went for players like Mike Ogulia, Matt Hooten at the 10, attempting to trade up for both those players because they were for their players, not for their name. The thing with names, I guess, kind of really influenced last year's draft because, everyone was getting picked, and there wasn't too much we knew, and guys were kind of, the draft was pretty predictable, but I don't think that's going to be the same thing this year. And adding a fifth team to the mix is definitely going to help with that, because that was one of the problems I had with the draft last year. It was just too predictable, and you could look at the projected graphic and not have to watch a draft video, because it was, with the exception of one or two swaps from one to the other, it went in the exact order it was supposed to go. Obviously, if we did a redraft, it would look way different. The league would be crazy. I don't know, but in any event, I guess we can just move on to the next question here. Is what is your what are your goals for the first season? Obviously, you said not wanting to be the only team to miss the playoffs, but so just talk to me more about goals for the franchise for their inaugural season, as everyone else is going to be making their second year jumps and you guys are just going to be starting off. So just talk to me about what the goal is for the debut.
Well, week one we're playing you guys, World Series winners. So that's a tough task. Of course, all the series I played against you when I was on the Bandits, they were all defense, I guess you could say. Our playoff series, there were 2 scores. There were 2 runs allowed the entire series.
That was a great
and
series.
that was we allowed 2 runs the entire series. So you guys won 1-0 each game. And I know your pitching is off the charts. Obviously best pitcher in the league, 100 strikeouts, first and only player to reach 100 strikeouts in a regular season in GIWL history. Your team is just a tough task. And going into the fire week one, that's what I'm saying with the all gas, no breaks, that this off season, I will be training my guys physically and mentally so that we are prepared for the World Series winners week one. We're walking into that, field, and we're facing off against champions. And then 3 weeks later, it's homecoming. Right? Me, Bandits. Right?
I was going to ask you about that, so you might as well get into that. Revenge.
And I want to prove something. I can't say it's revenge because I didn't play up to par. I can't say it's revenge. It's not a revenge game. It's nothing like that. I have nothing but love for Jack. Me and Jack have a great relationship, as I do with pretty much everybody in the league. I think everybody in the league has a good relationship, no matter what the team is. But I will always have, a special place for Jack because he took a chance on me. And it didn't work out. He let me go mutually. There was nothing, there was no hate towards each other in the contract discussions and what our plan was in the future. If you watch tape over the games and throughout the series and all that stuff throughout the season, me and Jack consistently talked. I was the second arm, and he trusted me to be the second arm, and he trusted me in the field. And me and him had a lot of conversations. If you watch tape, you see us talking in the field. Us, trying to bring each other up if we're having a slump, and that's just the relationship we had. But again, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. So, I'm going into that game with the mindset I have to beat this team. I want to be the best manager. I'm not putting any blame, but again, when I was on the Bandits, there wasn't much room for improvement. The only time we had to improve was on game day. There was no practice. There was no stuff like that. All the time we had to improve was game day. And then again, going on, I'm going to be playing I think I play the Aces next. If not, it's the Nighthawks. Either way, 2 great pitchers, Torn Roth, Aiden Ianco, 2 amazing pitchers. And again, what does free agency bring? Does one team get just extraordinarily good, and does one team fall to maybe bottom of the league?
Right.
So, but I know for sure that, those first 2 games are going to be emotional and hard. I'm going to be playing you guys week 1, World Series winners, and I'm going to be going 3 weeks later facing off against my former team.
Yeah, and they're going to be looking a lot different, I think. So that'll be, and your guys obviously are a fresh team, so it's going to be, a lot of the teams are going to be looking pretty different, I think.
I mean, I don't have a roster yet, so we're just going to, those talks are going to come once free agency is over, once draft's over, once whatever's over preseason time. That's when the talks are, what are projections? Who's making the playoffs? Who's out of the playoffs? First year of the regular season matters. What's it going to look like? This league is going to be different next year, and this off season's already crazy. A brand new team and only the second year of this league being a thing, and I'm so ready. I'm
glad you're ready. Yeah, and if there's anything else you really want to address, or if I'm asking the right questions, I can continue with those. But
that's your call. If you want to keep asking questions, that's fine. I like the questions. It's whatever you want to do here.
All right, sweet. I guess it's just obviously, the skill gap right now between captains, and more so, you're going to be going into things, it's likely you're going to be the only team where their captain is not their starting pitcher, and there is just a skill gap between you and the rest of the captains of the league. And that's going to be a big challenge to adapt to, because you're really going to have a good core to kind of make that up, or you guys are going to fall behind. And in this league, when you fall behind, the Nighthawks miracle run we may never see that again. So just talk to me about how you're going to overcome just the skill gap that's starting to develop in this league that you at the moment are on the wrong side of, but can go to the right side of with improvement.
Well, again, I'm going to improve my ass off. I'm going to be working, and that's all my goal is. I understand there will be a skill gap. And I might not. I'm probably not going to be the number 1 arm on my team. And I know that's crazy to something. Like every other franchise, their number 1 arm is their captain. But then again, if I can get a guy who can sling the ball, I'm more than happy being a second arm, or heck, not even being an arm at all. Right? All I care about is winning games. If I don't have to be the starting pitcher, I don't have to be the guy that has to go out there and throw the ball at that zone. If I don't have to be that guy and still win games, I'm happy with however that goes. And I guess, be better than the last team. Be better than the worst team in the league. What the 4 seed last year was us, and we won 6 games.
Yeah, right.
So we won 6 games. Heck, if we win 8 games this year and the worst team wins about 6 or 7 games, if we can win at least 8 games, then nothing's out of the picture. We could already clinch the playoffs at that point.
Yeah, I feel like 8 wins will probably be the magic number for the 4 seed, if I had to guess. And it's just going to show how big the league is improving. Just because, there was an 8-10 team in the World Series last year, so it's going to be crazy. We have no idea at this point. It's way too early.
The Aces started off hot, fizzled out in the second half of the year, and then the Nighthawks, they started off slow. Boom, Aiden Nanko starts pitching like a dog. Anything can happen in that league. Confidence plays a factor, and I think as long as I can stay confident in my guys, as long as I'm confident in myself, I don't see us missing the playoffs.
Yeah, I can see you guys in for sure. And I guess another thing, speaking on that of the Aces and the Nighthawks and whatever, just what are some things that you learned in terms of being a captain, running a team, how teams are functioning from the other teams last year? You can go off from the Bandits as well, but also other teams as well. What are some things you learned just from different captains and different teams, some things you want to replicate, some things you don't want to replicate that you saw, just any lessons you learned that you're going to be using to your advantage managing your own team now?
Well, I guess, my work ethic for my guys, I can say I'm going to steal from you. I mean, in the off season, you put in a lot of work with your guys. You took your guys and you guys went to an indoor facility, like a gym during the snow. I mean, of course, I don't have those facilities available to me. Please, Carl, no, I'm just kidding. But the work ethic, I guess, in the off season. And I guess, I could take from, just Jack being a guy you want to play for. I mean, sure, us in the Bandits, like I said, our practice was game day, but I love playing for Jack, and I want to be a captain that people want to come play for. And, I can't take much from the other two captains. I mean, he was just the pitcher. I mean, I didn't see much, it wasn't like a coach. It was just another player on there. I didn't even know if someone was running that team at that point. And then Ianco, who knows?
Ianco.
You can miss we can miss a month of uploads again. So I guess what I want to say is be available for the league. Is something I could take away from the Nighthawks is be available for the league. But I want to help the league grow, and I don't want to end up doing another Fogo golf thing to take place for something else.
I never want to do anything like that again. I never want during in season. I never want anything else being added to that challenge video playlist, because that was just embarrassing. As a commissioner, that video was embarrassing to make. It was embarrassing. Yeah. It was slow to edit.
It was fun. It was fun to make. It was fun to make.
I guess
it was embarrassing the why we had to make it.
Yeah, the context was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to upload. I didn't even think the video was that good.
I understand. It was slow to edit. And again, though, we could also blame ourselves for the kind of month off that we took, because we weren't flexible with the schedule. We kind of wanted to keep things how we had the schedule posted, but then again, that's kind of why we died in that month, is that we didn't want to change up the schedule. I guess we didn't want to. We had a schedule posted up, and we didn't want to break that schedule. But I think if we can, if somebody really can't make it, and there's something going on really crazy for we play out of order. Yeah.
So it's you live and learn, and we're going to be a lot better with everything, not just skill of the league, but everything that goes into being a league. We're going to be a lot better, and that's kind of a parallel to you running a team this year. I mean, so it's all kind of hand in hand in that regard. Everyone has something to improve on, so you shouldn't feel alone. You have a daunting task, but everyone has those adversities they have to overcome. They're just in different forms, and you're probably going to end up being the most public with it, just because all eyes are on you at the moment. You're definitely the talk of everything right now, until free agency hits, and then it's Nate Harrington. But for right now, it's you.
And I'm a vocal, I guess, person. I've always been the vocal guy of the league, I guess. Always just running my mouth, and that's kind of how it was on the field. That's how it was off the field. That's how it was in vlogs, or not vlogs, but podcasts and stuff like that. But I talk what I see, and hopefully what I see will be good. I don't plan on being the first team to miss the playoffs in GIWL history.
All right. I like that you're reiterating a lot of the same things, proving that you're that's in your brain, that mindset you're sticking to. I guess last question here, major question, is just, obviously you're not going to be here, so in the area for about half the season, or hopefully under half the season, because it'll be the second half. How are you approaching the travel, the whole thing with travel, and just how are you gonna? Obviously, we got a schedule around you, and we're gonna be hand in hand, meeting in the middle with that. But how are you approaching that? Because it's not exactly the easiest traveling in the world, but I mean, just what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be on game weekends. Having to commute from Cleveland to Buffalo or Grand Island, but that's about a 3-hour drive. But my goal is, not to have to miss, I guess. I don't see myself missing. Again, from week 1 to week 4 is when week 4 was my next game. So again, that's more than enough time to kind of all right, good. I don't have to drive back to Grand Island for 3 hours just to play some wiffle ball, which of course, I don't mind. I love this league. I'm so glad that it's a thing.
Me too.
But sure, like that's again, that's second half of the season problems. Really, ideally, like what we want to get the league going about May, Aprilish in between those 2 months.
I want
And
late April, yeah, but we'll
yeah,
see.
I'm not gone to July. So if we can get as many series in as possible within the late April or May to start of July, then I mean that's 2 months. That's 2 months. If we do a series a week, that's like 8 weeks of the GIWL season. And then after that, then it's all right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a little commuting and stuff like that, but I'm more than willing to do that for this league because I care about my guys, and I don't want to send my guys into war without their leader. Like I don't want to send my guys into a battle without their general.
The general fun, I like that.
How good would a team like, or how good would a team be if their head coach just doesn't show up? You know what I'm saying? And then so my hope is I don't want to miss for our guys, and I don't want to push back any uploads for the league or anything like that. I want to try to help the league stay consistent. So I guess commuting, it's going to be tough, but it's going to be something I have to do because I'm committed, and I'm more than willing to make it work because I want it to work, and I want this league to work, and I don't want this league to crumble because this is good.
Yeah, I appreciate all that, and you're just really showing here why you deserve the team. So, we're coming up on about 30 minutes of footage here. Is there anything else, any other message you want to deliver to the fans, to the league, the people that are in the league that are going to be watching this, and the draft prospects, anything you want to say, any message to kind of sum things up, or anything you just want to put the league on watch with? Go ahead, the floor is open.
Well, I'm ready. I hope the league is ready. I hope my team is ready. I hope every other team in this league, and I hope they go back and watch that tape from last year. And I'm going to watch it too, and I'm going to use that as motivation because I'm here. I'm ready. And, get ready for the GIWL merchandise, the T-shirts that say "Old Gas, No Brakes" on the chest with a nice Generals logo on there. All right. So I guess just be ready.
That's awesome. I think your professionalism here today really just showed already like improvement from last off season, and just showing the world a new side of Jon Hassan that is gonna mean business in this league in 2024. I really respect that, and I think you're ready to run a team, and I look forward to opening day as it's gonna be a respectable matchup for sure. Definitely gonna give us some trouble. I think you're gonna make the right decisions, do the right things, and you're gonna build a team that's going to be able to contend for that playoff spot this year and try your hardest not to miss. And I think you're very capable of not missing. So it's all behind you. And I think, you just did a really good job here kind of introducing us to, what you mean and what you're all about. And I mean, at this rate, looking like you're trying to be the next Dan Campbell with the GIWL, I'm all for it. I can see you filling that role for sure.
I want my guys to run through brick walls for me.
I would want the same thing. All right, folks. Thank you to Jon Hassan, new Generals captain. Just kind of introducing us to, everything that we can expect for the franchise. We hope you guys are ready for an expansion team in 2024. 2024 is going to be a movie. We've been saying it. We've been planning this offseason and this upcoming season since before the 2023 season started. It was like December of 2022, and we were already planning like the free agency system and everything.
When were the Generals an idea? When did we come up with this? Was like early in the season. I don't even think the season
early
started
on in the
yet.
Season. It almost was caught on a live, and we had to yeah. So it was probably like June that we were already in talks with that. But leave a like on the video, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you don't miss off-season content. Free agency is about to be crazy. The draft's going to be crazy. Obviously, the Generals have been announced. So if you want the best outlook for news, go follow our Instagram link in the description. At the time of recording this, I just finished putting everything in the league lineup, including playoffs. So all the stats are there, all-time leaders and stuff. That's all in there for 2023. Yeah, goal by the start of the season is to hit 500 subs. I think at the time of filming, we're at like 430 something. Catch any series you guys missed down in the description. We appreciate the early support on the World Series. That's on pace to do really well. and we're just excited to bring you guys an even better season in 2024. And we're going to be improving as a league right alongside Jon Hassan improving as the newest manager of a GIWL team. We'll see you guys for whatever we upload next. But just stay tuned and keep up with the offseason, because you're going to be confused if you just kind of jump into the league next year and realize like what the hell happened. So just look forward to this whole process, and we hope you guys are going to be as entertained as possible. I'm Brandon Crone. This is Jon Hassan. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.